All right, so I was asked to do a setup video, how I set up my guitars. On this one I'm gonna do my Strat. It needs a little bit of love, needs some fresh strings, so we'll do that tonight. I typically run 9s on my Fender scale, or 25.5-inch scales guitars. That's just my personal preference. My 24 3/4 Gibson scales, I use 10s. Every adjustment that I do, bridge, neck, whether it's the relief or whatever, I always do in playing position. There's no pressure on the neck other than the strings. It's in as neutral a position as it's going to be, and I feel like you get a better setup that way. So I take this, and I don't have any backlight, but you can see the notches fit over the frets. I actually do a combination of the restringing methods that Phil showed the other day on his video, which I'll show you. Good enough. And just loosen all the strings. Cut them in about the middle. When I do this, I'm actually looking for, at this point in the game, a flat neck, or as flat as I can possibly make it. So and I do this on the low side, on the middle, and on the high side. All right. Now with the neck pretty flat, you guys have seen these, right? Fret rockers. Actually gonna check my frets. So you guys pretty much should know how these work. You take your rocker and you span 3 frets. This is why I wanted the flat neck. And I check in 3 or 4 places along the neck, or along each set of frets. Hear that? That's a high fret. High spot in the fret. Let's be this fret right here. Or this is a low fret. Take your pick. So it doesn't rock. So this is actually a low fret, because now it's starting to rock in the middle. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to check, see how good the frets actually were. And my opinion, I mean, it plays okay, don't get me wrong, but it could use a level when it gets like that. And there's a few high spots here and there, but it's not atrocious. I'm going to check down here in the cowboy chords. But you get the idea how this works. You're just listening for that rock. And you're just covering 3 frets at a time. So we're going to leave that alone for now, but I just wanted to show that's how you use a not straight edge. That's how you use a fret rocker. String radius gauge, this is a 9.5, which is what this should be, but we're going to double check it. So what I do is several places along the neck, just check and make sure, and that's correct. So now we'll start with the strings. I'm a D'Addario guy through. One other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn all my tuners where the hole's facing down the neck towards the body. It just makes the way I do this a little bit easier. Not that it's very difficult. Everybody should know how to restring a guitar. But if you don't, well, you'll see how I do it. Everybody does it different. Ask 10 guitarists how to change a string. You're gonna get 10 different answers. And everybody's is right. Until you start trying to tie the strings around the posts. That's wrong. You want to see a guitar tech get mad in a hurry? Yeah, go ahead and tie a knot around the string in the post or at the post. Oh, that's amateur hour, baby. But I go ahead and get all my strings fed through the bridge. Again, you can do this one at a time. However you want to do it, doesn't matter. Inside, outside, middle to outside, whatever. Doesn't matter. So how I do this is actually pretty simple. Run through. These are not locking tuners. So I pull tight, I grab at the nut, come back about 1.5 frets, or you can do the hand method. Go ahead and bend my string up. Come around, make one loop, and it goes above the tail, right? And I hold that really tight, and I get my string winder, and I make sure each wrap goes underneath. Boom. So I'll go ahead and do the rest of these real fast. If I can find the hole. So again, pull it tight. I come back to about the 9th fret, bend up, throw my loop over the top, pull it tight. Where'd my string winder go? There it is. The whole idea here is to keep this tight and I keep down pressure on it. And that just that just allows the string to get locked in. Pretty simple stuff there. Also make sure your strings are centering on your saddles as well. Again, it's just rinse and repeat. Oop. One of these days I'm going to learn to leave that where I can get to it real fast. We're halfway home. Oop. Bend up. Through the loop. Now, generally on these unwound strings, you're going to make a few more winds. So what I'll do is I'll give a little bit more, especially on the B and the E. So we'll dig right into it. I'll pull it tight, and I'll pull full 5 fingers on this. Bend up. Through the loop. Get it under the tree. Again, I'm sorry if this is out of frame. I don't have that. I'm not good at this kind of video thing, so. Give me the thumbs down. That's fine. Not trying to make a living out of this, guys. I do this for fun. All right. Bend up. The reason I do my string changes this way, it's actually a really simple reason. I don't like scratches on my headstock from string changes. And this method eliminates all of that. So, especially if you're careful when you're putting your strings on or putting them through the tuners. There we go. Now we have a strung guitar. Yay! I'll go ahead and bring it up to pitch. For right now, I know it's laying down. That's okay. I haven't stretched the strings either, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet either. Okay, now comes the fun. Word of caution: when you do this, do yourself and your saddles a favor. Drop the tension on that string. And there we go. we're touching all the strings, bottoms of all the strings. Pretty close. We might be a little bit tall on the low E, but we have to work with what we got. All right, so we've got some buzz, and we're going to raise this . This is where it becomes a pain. B's got to come up a little bit. All right. D's got to come up a little bit. A's got to come up a little bit. A still got to come up a little bit. Still needs to come up a little bit. So the E's got to come up. It's got a little bit of buzz. It probably isn't going to come through in the amplifier. Well, let's check, see where we're at here. I'd say we're pretty close. Close enough. Action's about as low. Sure you can see that. I don't go by measurements. I go by feel and I go by string buzz. I know what they say. Oh, factory spec, blah, blah. Whatever. I go by what I like, and I like low action. I like to get it as low as I possibly can without it buzzing all over the place. Now we just check intonation. We're pretty much done. And again, something I do from playing position. So, well, I don't know. I'm not looking at a camera, so I don't know what's going to work there. But what you're going to be able to see. Pretty dead on. close enough for me. That one's a little bit sharp. So, it's a little bit sharp. The saddle goes back. Hope everybody understands that concept. You lengthen, so you're basically what it is the distance between here and here does not equal the distance between here and here. So if it's sharp, this distance from here to here needs to be longer. If it's flat, this distance needs to be shorter. Seems kind of counterintuitive, but that's the way it works. We'll check it now. And again, always loosen tension on your strings before you make any adjustments like that. It's just so much nicer on your bridge. Dead on. That don't always happen that way. Close enough on the A. We're way sharp on the E. So it's got to come way back. But notice the important part here. I make my adjustment on the bench, but I always check it and play in position. That's the most important thing here. Oh, that's pretty close.